I do feel like I'm the only person that actually saw a trailer for this film saying that it was going to have a theatrical release. Welcome to another movie review video. Welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Katrina, and usually I make bookish content here on this channel every week, and then movie reviews just like this one here at the weekend. It has not been business as usual around here lately, but business as usual is hopefully returning. In case you are looking for something to watch this weekend, I will leave a playlist of my movie reviews linked up above. They are always spoiler free, as is this one. So today we are going to be talking about Turning Red, which is the latest Disney Pixar release to come to streaming on Disney Plus. However, I felt sure that this one was going to have a theatrical release, and then they very, very quickly turned the tables and said that this one was going to come to Disney Plus and Disney Plus only, which I think is a shame, because I think that Soul was a great movie. It had a star-studded cast, and yet it went straight to Disney Plus. Luca was a great movie, and yet it came straight to Disney Plus. I do have reviews of both of those, which I will try and leave linked up above as I am talking about them. But both of them, I think, could have just been so much bigger if they had a theatrical release, and I feel that way about this movie as well. I think because Turning Red tackles the subject of kind of like changes when you become a teenager, and identity changes, physical changes, emotional changes, aka puberty. I think it would have been a really good one for friends to go and see at the cinema together, like one of those Saturday afternoon outs. You get dropped at the cinema by your mum, or you get the bus into town and go to the cinema, and you all go and see it together. I think that would have been a really lovely thing to do. And whilst, yes, you could go around to someone's house and watch it on Disney Plus with them, and you could watch it again and again on Disney Plus with them, there's something about that kind of like going and seeing it in the cinema and giggling at things together, that I think it has missed out on that demographics, very, very specific demographic, by only coming to streaming. But yeah, love the fact that this is another Disney movie that deals with complex emotions, thinking of Inside Out and Soul there, and another Disney movie that kind of deals with identity. I love the fact that we've got a lot of things to do with identity and to do with emotional and physical changes affecting our identity. There's so much of that coming from Disney and Pixar through all of the new releases recently, and I am definitely so here for that. I love the fact that this one really tackles it head on. I love the fact that you could clearly hear Sandra Oh in this movie playing this amazing matriarchal character. And then I just love the fact that this movie's got red pandas in it. For so long I had no idea what a red panda was, even though, you know, I may have seen them in the zoo at passing, and at the zoo in passing. And then, yeah, it wasn't until recently when I was visiting Chester Zoo, like in the past decade or so, that I was like, oh, that's a red panda. Okay. Love the fact that this deals with red pandas, and this deals with kind of like the cultural association of red pandas as well. I think that that is really, really cool. Also, really love the setting of this movie. I don't think we've had another Disney or Pixar movie set in Toronto. I think that that is very cool. A lot of them set in obviously sort of generic places, and very much like either you're set in America or you're set somewhere exotic. And so the fact that this one is set in Toronto and set in Canada is just great. But yeah, there has been obviously a lot of controversy around the fact that this one deals with puberty and does talk openly about the kind of products you might use when you first start to menstruate. I'm just like, what is the issue with that? Like, why are we not talking about this more? Why is this not in more kid accessible films? It's in kid accessible books. And so, yeah, I thought that was really interesting. Oh, we don't expect that from Disney. Well, like, it's something that happens, you know, even to Disney princesses. And I really like the fact that they've kind of tackled that head on and gone for that. But then the fact that we sort of deal with the identity issues that happen around that age and the emotional issues that happen around that age. There's a moment where we sort of first see the changes and first see the like turning red, and that kind of emotional roller coaster of I'm fine, and then I'm drawing pictures of things going on with this boy, and I'm drawing more pictures, and I'm getting more and more worked up, and it's like, yeah, no, that's real, that's really cool. I also really, really love the fact that this deals with a really cool group of girlfriends. I think that each of them is so unique and has such a strong identity, and yet they are all so there for each other, and they are all so into supporting each other no matter what. Like, they do things no questions asked. They are ride or die completely. And I think that we see a lot of that in television dramas like your Sex and the City, and but we're getting to see more of that for younger people. I think that some of the Netflix original shows are definitely showing a lot of that, and so the fact that Disney Pixar is keeping up with that as well, I really, really enjoyed that fact. And then just overall, it was a nice and entertaining film. I think that the things that it's trying to tackle were done well. Sometimes it felt like it was driving them home a little hard. And then I did think that some parts were, now not unsuitable for, but a little scary for younger viewers. Some of the red pandas that we see in this film are quite large red pandas and quite capable of a lot of destruction, and some of the emotional outbursts that we see in this film are also quite extreme and possibly a little bit on the scarier side. And so that is something to bear in mind if you haven't watched this one yet, or and are thinking of watching it with younger children, then definitely bear that in mind if you're going to be viewing it with them. However, I think that the trailer gives a good representation of the level of, mild peril, as it would be called in the ratings probably. But yeah, there's just some of those things. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I think if I was watching this with somebody who was a little bit younger, they might be a little bit worried about this, or they might find this a little bit disturbing or a bit loud and a bit much. So just watch the trailer if you're not sure about seeing it with younger viewers. But on the whole, I think it was really good. I'm really gutted that it didn't get a theatrical release. I do love being able to access things at home and being able to access them without having to go to the cinema, and I do appreciate that makes them much more accessible for people who are not able to leave their houses or are not able to access a cinema for any accessibility reasons. I'm completely aware of that. And I'm not trying to be ableist by saying I wish it had a theatrical release, but I think personally, when I watch something just on streaming for the first time, I don't give it my full attention. There's a phone there, there's a meal there, there's a, oh, I'll go and make another coffee there, there's a, oh, I'll just nip to loo but leave it playing there, which I suppose you have in the cinema as well. But I just feel like that immersive experience of seeing it in the cinema, and having seen it trailered in the cinema with an actual release date, I felt a little bit like I'd missed out on something. So, should you stream this movie this weekend? Absolutely yes. If it was in the cinema and I was asking my usual question of should you pay your cinema going money to go and see this film this week, again, that would be an absolute yes. This is a hard recommend from me. Is it a film that I'm going to watch again and again, a bit like Inside Out? I don't think it has quite as much power as that film, but I could see me maybe watching it again in a couple of years' time once the memory of this viewing has worn off, but it's not something that I'm going to return to immediately, like, for example, Frozen 2, that I went to the cinema and saw again immediately. But yes, it's a hard recommend from me. I really enjoyed what they were trying to do. The animation was spectacular. It would have been great to see it on the big screen, but I'm happy watching it on my laptop, sat on a bed with a pizza and a Diet Coke. Absolutely fine by me. So I will be back with another movie review for you next weekend. So make sure you are subscribed and hit that notification bell so that you do not miss out on my bookish content that should be coming to you in the week. Keep your fingers crossed for me that no other life things interfere with any of that, please. And yes, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching.